So you think you can be as high as fourth?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So let's start this video with this 20 weeks out physique update of the reigning Miss Olympia, Samson Dauda. So that off time that he took after this year's Arnold Ohio, and that was of 10 weeks. That did him pretty well. And now that he's back on his protocol, just look how fast he's blowing back up. So this is him, about 320 pounds. And he will go through probably another 6 to 8 weeks of pushing the weight up, while trying to make some more improvements before the prep for this year's Olympia officially begins. So will Samson Dauda feel different kind of pressure this time, as he's the reigning Olympia champion, and this time he knows everybody is chasing him. Well, maybe not. But this can also push you to be motivated more than ever, to work harder than ever before. And that is why he's staying in his own lane. And Samson is probably one of the only guys out there who has his fate in his own hands. I believe there is a consensus on this fact, that if Samson brings his all-time best, especially in terms of conditioning, if he brings his 100%, he beats them all. And that isn't just my opinion, that is the opinion of majority of the camps out there. And some of those camps, they do not even want Samson Dauda to repeat, but still they admit the kind of size that Samson has, the structure, the aesthetics, the way he flows top to bottom, that just puts him on a whole different level. And the man is just way too good for everyone out there if he comes in peeled. So one thing that Samson Dauda has really improved in the last few years, they are his arms. And this physique update was taken after an arms day. And the man is looking pretty solid right now, with 20 more weeks to go. So the Olympia last year, and the look that he brought, that was the best of Samson Dauda. But the reigning champion Derek, he was big time off, and so was Hadi Choopan in that competition. And we just saw that Samson got beat by Derek at this past Arnold. And that is something that made this upcoming Miss Olympia a very open competition. Because if you guys remember, the way Samson Dauda was looking throughout his Arnold Ohio prep this year, all the experts, they were saying that he's gonna be so untouchable. And they said that he isn't just gonna win this year's Arnold, but he's gonna go on to win multiple Olympia titles. So let's wait and see if Samson can win 2 in a row. Now one thing is very certain, that the conditioning, that doesn't come easy for a guy like Samson. And he's gonna have to suffer more than ever before to accomplish that kind of conditioning that the judges wanna see from him, especially after this year's Arnold Ohio.
When you say fourth, does that mean you don't think you beat Samson, you don't think you beat Hadi, and you don't think who else is that you can beat?
I think probably.
Next up, we have an update from Regan Grimes. So we saw a very big blasting full look on Regan post his Cali Pro win, and this is him right now, back in that flat zone, going for that depletion mode one more time, digging deep to get more crisp conditioning for his next show, which is going to be Toronto Pro. And I must say Regan is in a great position as he enters Toronto Pro peak week, because this time he has zero pressure. So I think they can play around with this peak week and bring a much better look, and also get a lot of data and do experiment with different things to see how they can peak 100% for the Olympia this year, which is the one that truly matters in the end. And honestly, the only big name that is going there in Toronto against Regan, that is Sazan Herati. And I'm gonna say, as much as I like him, he just doesn't have enough size on him to beat an aesthetic mass monster like Regan, especially now that Regan is also bringing great condition.
I think it's going to be like a Nick, Derek, Samson, Hadi.
So
and then I.
So that's already 4. So you still think?
No, but like if one of them's off.
Okay. So okay.
Yeah.
Now those are extremely high, and some would say very unrealistic expectations set by Regan for himself for this year's Miss Olympia. So Dennis James, he tried his best to ask him 1 or 2 particular names whom he thinks he can beat in order to place anywhere from 4th to 8th at the Olympia this year. The thing is, he just stood next to a guy like Nick Walker at the New York Pro, and even if Regan did not fade from the prejudging to the finals, actually he faded by the end of the prejudging. So even if that did not happen, the best he would have placed, that was second behind Nick. So let's just say he's going for that 6th place at the Olympia this year. He will still have to beat a guy like Andrew Jack, Martin Fitzwater, William Bonac, or Brendan Carey. And that, I must say, is a tough job. So what do you guys think? Can Regan make enough improvements to have a very realistic shot of placing in that Olympia top 6, and that too this year? So must be an honor for the Iranian phenomena Behrooz to pose for the greatest bodybuilder of all time, Ronnie Coleman. And Ronnie seems to be very impressed with this can-look of Behrooz, which by the way is less than 4 weeks out of this year's Dubai Pro. Now you know Ronnie must be thinking he would have smoked all these guys back in his prime. But we know there probably won't be another one like Ronnie Coleman. Now Behrooz is well on his way to win the second Dubai Pro title, as he is the defending champion there this time. And maybe he needs more legs to create that perfect upper to lower body balance, that perfect ratio, to create that insane X-frame. And I certainly believe that he's gonna eventually do that. And when that happens, Behrooz will be among those top 3 or 4 guys with the best structure in the men's open class. So what makes Behrooz so dangerous? It's that trademark Iranian conditioning and the consistency with which he shows up in shape and 100% ripped every single time he's up on that bodybuilding stage. Now you know he absolutely loves training and competing. When a guy preps for the Olympia, all the way until the last week, just in the tiniest of hopes of maybe stepping on the Olympia stage and getting the visa to the US. Now I am praying that he does get his visa this time around, finally. And maybe this is gonna be the year when we're gonna see Behrooz shaking up that Olympia first call out. But that being said, he has to qualify first. But again, that won't be a problem for him. You wanna see the difference between classic physique and the men's open bodybuilding? And why do the men's open guys, they get the big money? Just look at the post down between Terence Ruffin, who is now 20 weeks out of this year's Miss Olympia, and by the way, who just competed, and Mark Hector, who is prepping for that Italy show, which is happening in September. So Mark is competing just a few weeks before the Olympia this year, in probably one of the last Olympia qualifiers of this year. And it will be very interesting to see who else shows up in that show fighting for the Olympia qualification. So back to classic versus open. The size difference between these two guys and these two divisions, the difference in the overall density and the roundness, that is simply insane. And just for the record, Mark hasn't won his first pro show just yet. And another thing, he isn't the biggest guy out there in the men's open, and yet the difference is so damn crazy. So when people make these kind of comments that some of these guys in classic, they should just switch over to the men's open and they're gonna do very well, then that just simply isn't true. And people are asking a lot of these classic physique competitors, because the thing is, they need to push the size, and to do that, they need to eat more. The PD's protocol, that is going to be more severe, and you can never guarantee that while putting on more size, their symmetry, that is gonna stay the same when they put that much amount of muscle mass to be competitive in the men's open, and when they push all these variables. So great to see Terence and Mark promoting the sport in the best possible way. So Mark was able to return after his shoulder injury, and for those of you guys who do not know, he had multiple surgeries, and he placed 4th last year in his comeback show. And I'm certain he's gonna come and improve this year. So Justin Shier probably has one of the most underrated arms in the IFBB Pro League at the moment, and that in a sense that he doesn't get enough attention or mentions on how big those guns are. Plus, he has possibly one of the best symmetry, especially from the front. Now, unfortunately, Chicago Pro this year doesn't have the men's open class. Otherwise, Justin would have definitely went back to try and defend his title. Now he's prepping for this upcoming Tampa Pro, and the man is getting leaner by each passing week. Now Justin is gonna have to go up against some very tough competition at Tampa Pro to get his Olympia spot. But the thing is, he's coming back after almost 1.5 years gap. Actually more than that. His Olympia debut back in 2023 that made him realize that he needs to go back to the drawing board, improve his back, put on some more density and muscle there. So we expect a considerably bigger and also a better version of Justin in terms of conditioning in 10 weeks time, and not just from the back, all around. So his structure, the quads, the waistline, the arms, the lats, the kind of sweep that he has, the vacuum, that makes him possibly one of the best looking physique in the men's open from the front. The guy has got an ideal structure that most bodybuilders out there, they dream of. So Justin won his pro debut back in 2023. Can he win another show this year and earn his Olympia ticket? Also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button. if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.